Oh my God, it's our
Third.
our third shelf talk. Welcome back, everybody. Super excited. It
Yes.
seems like, okay, so I got the numbers back from our first two. We had some of the highest numbers of downloads out of all the,
Seriously?
yeah, I mean,
They like us.
what it means is like what I said to you before, like when we were talking about this, is like the visual merchandising ones. I feel like everyone really loves to hear and wants merchandising information because it's not a lot of it out there. So us talking about, but it was like so cool to see those numbers. So everyone, thank you so much for listening. And we got some questions. Super excited about that, which we'll cover those a little bit later. But
You're sending.
I am so excited. So we're gonna catch up with kind of a loose agenda. But first thing I want to do is catch up with you. You're back in New Orleans. It seems like you're there a lot.
Lately we have been. I've happily tagging along with my husband who's at a conference. So.
Tell everyone what your husband does, so everyone knows. Like, why?
He works in biotech, and he works as what's called medical science liaison. So he is at a conference with a bunch of brainy kids who are talking stuff.
Super smart.
He's talking stuff, and you know, he's fantastic. I love what he does. He loves what he does, which is great. And so I was like, okay, I'm tagging along to this conference. So Mavis the dog, she's at daycare today. There's a great little daycare for dogs down the street called Zeus's Place, which if you're in New Orleans or from New Orleans, Zeus's is a fantastic animal rescue. You should look up. And okay, here's the thing. Most recently, and I don't know if you ever saw this, even made in the New York Times, there's a dog named Scrim.
Yes, everyone's talking about him.
Oh my God, I have photos of Scrim. Mavis is staying at Scrim's zone, you know?
Scrim's there. Oh my God.
Scrim's there. So he literally is like attached to the wall, as she should be, because he could get it. They keep him behind like when you go in and check in and everything, the counter, he's there, he's chilling out. He has an emotional support dog with him who is this gigantic chocolate lab and who's just really helping him adapt and be awesome. And Scrim is, every time I've seen him, is just in his bed looking like, feed me grapes.
He's so, I mean, it's like fucking.
I love that you know that story. That's good.
Well, Caroline, Shop with Caroline, who I love. She's like, oh my God, if you guys aren't watching Scrim, you need to. What are you doing with your life?
So I know.
I'm like, him in his little face. Like,
I'm gonna text you a photo. So I've been like, I'll text you a photo of what he looked like this morning. I take a photo every time I've gone in there. I'm like, hey, Scrim.
I think when I looked at the day, they said that at that point it was 7 days for him to just come out of his kennel and come.
I know. Well, I sit there and I think like he jumped here. I just texted you a photo. He jumped out of a second-story window. I mean, this is like this escapee dog, right? And he's just,
You have to show. Oh my God, he's so cute.
Isn't he cute? A little fuzzy dude.
Oh, I love that he's, Michael, it's like a celebrity sighting.
I feel like, I know, I go in there, I'm like, oh my God.
Hilarious. Okay, you're in an Airbnb. What is happening with that picture?
I am not in an Airbnb. I know, it's crazy. So I am actually.
Oh, it's your friends.
It's our friend's house. So they are, we have dear friends of ours. They have the space. They currently live in Spain because you do. Anyways, they used to run an art gallery and they have tons of artwork everywhere in this place. So you can see the painting behind me there, and there's artwork over here. Every surface is covered in art. So it's really fun.
Oh, that's kind of cool because I was like, what is happening behind you? What is that bird picture? But
I know. Yeah, I have birds over here. I think there's a cat here. And then I'm staring at a whole bunch of like a cat lithograph there. And then there's stuff everywhere. I love it. So it's a very colorful, it's a very bohemian house. It's fits New Orleans very well. So
I have to ask you because your husband's, and I don't know why I never asked you this. So this is one of them now, but your husband's in the medical field and you're in a different merchandising.
Yeah.
Like is it when you guys started it with your own careers, is it weird like when you come home and you talk about like two totally different worlds?
Yes, but yeah, no, absolutely. It is two totally different worlds, except, there'll be times like I've brought Josh into the showrooms and stuff. I'm like, you need to see what I'm doing. And actually, he's great. He's helped me out with certain things because he's really handy. I mean, he doesn't want anyone else. He doesn't like share it a lot, but he came out of a theater background. So he used to do scenic design way back when we first met. And so he's very handy with, rigging things up and stuff like that. And so I'll give him direction. I'll be like, I need this or this or this or that. He's great that way. So we have a good fun. He enjoys it, but he is mystified by what we do. He understands it. Yeah. He really does. But he's just like, okay, you do that.
Yeah, I was on a walk.
And I just listen to him and I smile and nod. I do understand what he does, but
you've been together since college, so you have through his whole medical education. So you had, I'm assuming you already had heard most of, like what he was going through, so you understood it. But I know our industry is like, I went through a walk today with a lady that I met here and trying to explain to her just the concept of manufacturer showroom and multi-manufacturer showroom, and there's all these different things with one roof that this brand reps and then this brand sells, and it is, I guess, yes. About it, you're like, what the fuck are you telling me?
I know when people ask, I'm trying to like, I'll be like, oh yeah, it's a showroom, but it has like a lot of vendors in it. I said it's almost like it has like lots of little booths, but that makes it sound like it's a antique place or something, or booth fair. And I'm like, but I mean, it's like, it's a trade show, but it's all in one. And I have all these, like, and people are looking at me like, okay. And I'm like, it's fine. It's good. It's good. And of course they always think as soon as showrooms, they're always like, oh, furniture and lighting. I'm like, how do you know furniture and lighting showrooms? But okay, that's all right.
I always laugh when you see like, people who have never been in the building and they're like, I love your store.
Yes, exactly. I'm like, it's not, it's not a store. I mean, it's not, but it's not.
What do you think about it? It's like, that probably is the easiest way to explain it. It's like,
it is,
store, but it's
like being in a mall with like, anyways.
That's a good thing.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I always think about like you and Dave, how I love my husband, but I couldn't work with him as much as you work with, Dave.
Well, there are moments that, I'm like, well, you didn't really see any of it in Vegas. I don't think that part of me really didn't come out, I don't think. But I will like, he works with Tanya from Fine Lines so effing good. Like the two, honestly are much better compatibility as far as merchant, like what he does and what she does. So anyone who doesn't know, Tanya is Fine Lines designer. She's fucking brilliant. And I must be micromanager because she'll throw something out and he just kind of takes it and runs with it. And she's like, that's brilliant, David, let's do it. And I'm like, I throw things out to him and he does this. And I find myself, let's change it to that. And then I'm like, wow. And he's like, Tanya and I just work better. I'm all, wow, that hurts.
He clearly, because even working with Dave, there's one point, I was trying to figure out some shelves spacing and he was waiting for me to come up with like, okay, this shelf's going to go here. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go over here. And he's like standing there staring at me. And I looked at him. I'm like, you need to walk away.
Yeah.
He's like, okay. I'm like, don't take this personally, but you need to walk away now.
Yeah, he's
I'm like, back in 2 minutes.
Oh, he's ready to go. I'm like, I'm not ready yet. And he's like, well, okay, you said you were in a hurry. I'm like, well, I was, but now it took you. I mean, and he's so creative and he'll throw out he does throw out some really cool ideas, but Tanya and him are like symbiotic. It's crazy.
Which is great. I'm glad they have found that.
I love that too. But I feel like sometimes I'm mean, like I don't have patience sometimes.
Well, you're married to each other, so you can shortcut a lot of conversations.
Last night I was taking a bath and he comes in. I'm working with Sepulveda Car Wash and I love them. And she wants to expand she's old school car wash. It was her husband's.
I remember you told me this.
Husband's mother.
Cool idea.
Oh my God. Like it's amazing. The volume they do and being in the store and seeing how many people come in. Like I must have had 20 people go, "Are you the owner? We love it here." I'm like, "No, it's Christine over here." And, but they have like, it's car washes do not close unless it's raining, and it's nonstop from 7 to open. So it's not like, let's close the store for the day and we'll redo this. Like, so we're redoing the counter. We can't take the old counter out because the amount of electrical that goes through this counter. So it's like,
oh, sure.
Formica, old, like 70s Formica counter.
I mean, first of all, the concept of a car wash that's selling anything, like the fact that I would even get out of my car, like that's foreign to me. Do you know what I mean? Like this is...
You talked about this and now I get it now that I live in Oregon. So
like, that the car washes that I used to go to, you just drive through it and you're done.
Yeah, it's so weird. And I even said to somebody the other day, are there not car washes at all that you drive up and you give them the keys and they wash it and they vacuum it and they all do that? And they're like, no, it's literally like you pull in.
Yeah. You're on the track. You just go and you like wave at the person and then you're gone.
Yeah. And now I understand that because there's not one here like a regular car wash.
I know when you first mentioned this car wash to me, I was like, what magic, weird California world is this that this is happening in? Because I don't not get it.
I mean, maybe California. I mean, it can't be just California, but
no, it can't be. But I think California, or I can imagine other really sunny states. Kind of, it's a culture. I mean, I always think of like, what is it? And then like Sheryl Crow has that song about like watching people wash their car in their skirt and suits. Have I gone on a tangent?
Like what?
Anyways, in my mind, I'm like, what is this magical world called California?
Well, it makes sense because, during the rainy season here, snow or mud you're slodging through, your car is never clean. Like I never not washed my car. So like it was gross for.
Yeah, you're just like, it's going to just wait till but then first sunny weekend, there is a line. So blocking traffic to get
that does make sense. But it's also, so it's this car wash is very high end cars that go, and it's, you put the keys off and they do detailing or they do the car just, runs through. But within it is this massive gift shop. And she sells, when I say the volume of Voluspa they sell, it's nuts. Like there's so much Voluspa, but she's got like a full on kids department. She sells coffee table books. Like it's rad. So
that is so cool.
Long story short, we're going to redo the front of this old counter and build wood counter. So I've been working on this. I finally was like, I need to pass this off to you. So I'm sitting in the bathtub last night and I'm just like trying to calm down because it's been a little crazy with Matilda with her leg and like mom's stress. And, Matilda has something patella thing that she's
subluxating patella. So subluxating patella. I think that's it. Yeah.
She's been limping and will go on walks. And it's so sad to see her because she just stops and looks up at you. And it's like, it is like wrecking my mind right now. So I'm in the bathtub just trying to, and he comes in and he sits down in the toilet and he's like, not to go to the bathroom, everyone, just using it as a chair. Sits down.
Am I, everyone? Welcome to the podcast.
No,
we're off shift. Forget merchandising. We've moved on to something else.
Sits down and he's like, so let's talk about the car wash. I'm like, really? Right now? I'm like, okay. So next thing I know, we're like in a fucking business conversation. Like, well, I'm trying to take a bath and relax, but that's, I guess, what happens when you are married to each other and you do jobs together. And
to go with boundaries, Dave.
And it's just because, honestly, it's so cool because he usually, we have literally reversed roles, like literally, like yes. I am used to being the one that's gone all the time on jobs, on the road, whatever. And he does his construction, or he was building a lot of landscape architect stuff like decks and outdoor kitchens and whatnot. He was not traveling and working the same rate I was. It is completely reversed. I am the one at home, and he goes off every day and I'm like, what is happening? So he comes home and he's tired and there's not a lot of extra time for us to talk about this stuff. So that's when it happens. But anyway.
Oh my God.
I love how I have it as a chair, not going to the bathroom.
Yeah.
As a chair.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. We were talking earlier. You have a couple homework things to announce, don't you?
Yes. So, okay.
And then we'll blab some more.
For everyone that did not see, well, I'm going to start with the good thing. The good thing is Gift Shop Plus and I are collaborating together, and I will have a quarterly column.
Super exciting. I'm excited for you.
I'm so excited. It didn't seem like as big of a deal. Like, it was like, yeah, I can write, like, I can column. And all of a sudden now I'm like, wow, it feels like really big. But they're
really
like,
words.
400 to 600. She's like, but honestly, you could do more. I don't have a counter on when I'm doing my. So I have no idea how many words it is. It's relatively long. And then they're like, well, if it has to be a full page, then we'll do a full page, and, we'll include photos and stuff like that. So it's quarterly. It's going to be out for the summer show. So all the summer, or for this summer, because it comes out 4 times a year for this. So this is the summer issue, and it will be all of the newsstands that are within the gift shows. So you can get it in Dallas. You can get it any of the shows. Those, I think, people, because it's an actual magazine, people get it in the mail, and it's also online in case you don't get online. So I'm super excited, and and throw out any things you'd like me to talk about. I have no problem with that. I love hearing the suggestions for that. And then the sad stuff. So when the pandemic happened, I got a SBA loan. And that is what I started the podcast with. That we bought all the equipment, paid for trips when we were filming, paid for Dave to do editing of anything like that, paid for photographer, it was great. It funded the whole thing, all the setup, all the equipment. And then super busy. We had sponsors. So the monthly nut to run this podcast is not small, because the podcast team does all the editing, and they're amazing. And then I have Danielle, my assistant, who does all of the posts for both my Instagram and the podcast Instagram. She does all the back and forth with the guests. She does all of the back of house. Like, she does a shit ton. So, and then all the things you have to subscribe to get your podcast out there. Wholesale industry has been slow as well. And then you add the tariff situation, and all of a sudden now this trickle down effect is really affecting me. And my SBA loan is done, and I'm now have been paying out of my own pocket for the podcast to run. And I've been wrestling with, do I walk away from it? And we've spent 3 years building it to this, 70,000 downloads to this point. All the people that have been listening to it, all our guests, like, do I just give up? Because it's like, I can't afford to keep doing it. If I'm not working a lot, and I don't have retailers here in Oregon. So it's like, when I'm home, I'm not working. Like, there is no income. So it's been a constant stress that has hung over my head for the last 2 months. And I don't want to give up the podcast. It means too much. There's too many DMs that I have and emails from people saying, thank you so much for talking about this stuff. Like,
it's important.
I mean, I think I give out so much information, but the retailers giving out so much information about what works and what doesn't. And so long story short is I have to cut back the podcast editing team, and that's a large chunk of the funds. Danielle, and this, I have them on a temporary hold, and Danielle, my assistant, is learning how to edit the podcast. Which I'm sure she will be able to, because she's smart as fuck. Like, it's crazy, like, how she's just picking things up. I mean, she's young, so it's, and so she's going to be learning how to edit the podcast. So in order to give her time to edit the podcast and learn how to do it, because it's not just like, take the recording and upload it to Buzzsprout. It's the intro music has to be edited in. It's the intro for the segment has to be edited in.
Yes.
Any mistakes or any sound issues have to be edited. Mid-roll, that has to be edited in. And then the outro has to be edited. And if you've never done that, I've never done it. And I can tell you, I'm not trying to edit just stupid Instagram videos. And I mean, so I'm giving her time to be able to get her feet wet and understand how it works. So we will be going to 2 episodes a month for June and July. And I apologize. It's like what it was the lesser of 2 evils. Walk away from the podcast altogether, or take it down to 2, get her up and running, and then hope that we get sponsors. But right now with the industry, I don't see sponsors coming back for a while. So that is the sad news. And I can't believe I got through without crying, because the message that I had to record for Instagram, I cried. So
I think that doing, 2 episodes a month, I think that's fine. I think that's good, because then once it ramps up, it ramps up. And I think this is reflective of the industry anyways. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all, retail during this time, this is not, this isn't like pandemic cuts type of thing, but it's a little bit of a struggle. There's some uncertainty right now, and that's okay. And so we all just sort of tighten up a little bit here and there, and 2 episodes a month is a lot of good information for everyone out there who, loves to listen to you and me.
It's part of it. It's twofold. Part of it is, there is a bit of that ego comparison. I love Crystal from Rooted in Retail. She's amazing. She has an insane team behind her. She puts on the Evolve conference. And there is if I'm dead honest, there is a comparison thing where I was struggling with that for a while. And it's like, look at what she's doing, what she's created. And it's like, I had to, that Let Them book helped a lot with the comparison thing. But we're 2 different animals. We have 2 totally different podcasts. She's been doing what she's been doing for a long time. And, I can't compare it to that. It's just, there is that sense of, and this is where I might cry, there is that sense of failure where it's like, to get this out there. And it's like, God, it's like to have it come down to this is so, it sucks all the way around. I mean, it does have to do with, a lot of it is ego, but a lot of it is just, it's something that I hate to quit something, and I hate something to fail. And it slightly feels like a failure, but I know.
Oh gosh. I don't know. There is no failure in this. I feel like this is all this is an adjustment.
Yeah. And it better be
temporary. And what I honestly consider is it's a temporary adjustment. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's temporary. It's a slight adjustment, and it's not failure in any way.
And I know I'm preaching to the crowd, because I'm sure there is a ton of people out there listening that are struggling with their businesses, that are going through way worse of a situation than I am because of the tariffs and not knowing what's going to happen to their business. And so I know this is a small thing compared to what they're all going through, but maybe it's that part of me in the back of my head of my Fred Siegel days of losing my store. It's like, now it's like,
no, it's like a trigger. No, this is not the same thing. And, I think, that in your heart, but the commitment to it, you're attached to it. So, and it's shifting slightly. Honestly, it'll shift back.
It's so I'm sorry for crying.
Please don't ever apologize.
If you got to be honest, you got to be honest. But I want this. We started a campaign a while ago, and it's still up. And now we're going to start broadcasting it. There's something called Buy Me a Coffee, where it's on our website at retailhorror.com, retailhorrorpodcast.com. It's a little yellow cup of coffee, a coffee icon. And it's something that if you want to help support the podcast, you are more than welcome. I can't thank you enough if you do, but it's like you can buy a $5 copy, and what it does help put the money towards the editing team, puts the money towards Danielle, who does everything. And, I struggled with putting that out there and asking, but it's like, is it Paleotron. I forget how to say it. There's another thing with podcasts where, if you want to hear the whole entire episode, you can join.
Oh, the Patreon.
And I want to do a paywall. I don't want to do that. And that's a way to.
I love that you don't, because this information is, this is small business, helping small business. Do you know what I mean? And this is about being collegiate with each other and not competitive. And it's about, me supporting you helps support the whole, the whole of small business together. You gotta have community. This is, we don't have the ability, small businesses, and this is small businesses as a podcast, small businesses as you and me, our own business that we run, when we work for other people, to the retailers. If we don't have community, then we don't have jobs. It's like, you know that. And, what I love about when we have conversations and when we work together and things of that sort is our collegiate, how collegiate we are. And we see other merchandisers in the building and we talk to them, and you have to. It's like, why would you not? And I know a lot of people get fearful of information sharing, and I believe you have to be respectful of who you're working for and what kind of information you're sharing or not sharing. And but we all know that as well, but when we all talk to each other, when merchandisers talk to each other, if we're in the building, we see each other, it's really about community and, supporting that. It's like, yes, you need to continue doing your work, because you doing your work means I can continue doing mine as well. So,
yeah, it's been, this whole time in between this has been the weirdest. We left, I guess, in this giant high of like coming off of that most amazing experience. And now, I've been here since mid-February, and it is now 2 weeks into May. Mm-hmm. And it has been a very weird time. Like, I don't have retailers here. I've had a couple great Zoom consulting jobs, and I started the planning process for a couple of my showrooms. But by far and large, the amount of work I'm used to doing, like I said, it's like total role reversal with Dave. And then you throw in this part of it, and then it has just been like this weird roller coaster of trying to ride things out and not push. And it's like, I'm letting come to me what's meant to be.
Yeah.
And in that same breath, it's
easier said than done, but yes, it's hard not to work, or it's hard to have these delays in work, when you're ready to go.
You're ready to go back. And we have this show season. Like I'm going back to 180 for the new brand. I'm so ready to go back to Atlanta. I'm so ready to get my hands full. And then this is the really weird part. It's like, it's so fucked up. I'm sitting here complaining about like, I want to go to work. I miss working. I miss having my hands busy. And then as soon as I know I'm going to be traveling, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, but what about the dogs? So like, what is wrong with me? What?
They're gonna be fine, Michelle.
So anyway, we have show season coming up. I will be in Atlanta for 2 weeks, and then we'll be coming back for a couple days, and then we are headed out to Vegas. You are, I believe, also
I'm in Atlanta also June, July, and then out to Vegas for 2 weeks. So this is going to be good. So we will be, although we're not working on projects together this season, are we? No, but we're practically
down the hall from you, which is
which is great.
The great thing is, like, for those who don't know, like, the show,
Unless something comes up, we are currently not working on projects together.
the way I love is that our showrooms are all down the hall from each other.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll walk down to each other and be like, can you come look at this for me? Or I'm having a really bad day. I just need somebody to talk to.
I know.
Having Matilda and Mouse, we'll walk them.
Exactly. I need my puppies. I need to give them.
I can't wait to see all, like, everyone from Tara and Tamara, like the girls at Roadrunners, and I can't wait to see the CMA team. Like, it's just going to be great to see everybody. But yeah, this show season, it's funny. We're not working on any projects together as of yet. But I'm so excited to get. I'm excited for 180. They were purchased by Zodax. Mm-hmm. They are going to change. They're changing the direction of what it looks like. They've already wiped. I just noticed they wiped their Instagram, so everything will be fresh and new. And it is exciting to be part of this new rollout. I am not the lead, which is very exciting to be someone just going in as Dave.
Yeah, tell me what to do. Let me go do it. Yeah.
I don't want to be the lead on everything. And it's really kind of cool to just be part of this. Like, I'm
looking forward to seeing how they,
oh my God, me too,
invent the appearance of it, because anyone who knows 180 knows there's clearly more than 180 objects that they sell.
The line,
so such a deep line.
It's cool because the line will not change. And what I understand is it will give Zodax, I don't even know that for sure, but I know the line will not change. And everyone that loves the line for what it is, it's just the showroom, how it looks in the showroom and how it's displayed changing. And that's, I think, what's so exciting. And like I said, they wiped their whole Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is it? So I doubt I'm going to be allowed to film in it. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. So it will be exciting for everybody to see it when it rolls out, because
a cool reveal for people, especially people who maybe they are familiar with the line, have been shopping it, or not familiar with the line, to be able to see it new and fresh. That's going to be really fun for them.
Well, if you go to Atlanta's got a whole new, so they moved out of the existing Atlanta showroom and they're part of Shaubin now. So they're in shop, but they have reconstructed and built an entirely different looking showroom. Like, all the things, all the props and stuff like that are all being sent to Vegas. Vegas is getting a revamp, but it's not going to be done like Atlanta this time. So it's like, it is going to be this big production for. So
in Atlanta, it won't be. They're not even in that space anymore.
No, they're in Shaubin. They're part of Shaubin. Okay. So I don't know what floor Shaubin's in.
I don't know. I can't remember what floor it's on either.
One big wing. And they've been building out this new space and all new fixtures, all new way it's just being displayed. So that's exciting, because it's literally totally.
That'll be so much better.
Vegas will be reimagined in the sense of it's just going to be redone altogether. And plus, all the props and all the fixtures that were in Atlanta will be sent to Vegas. So it'll still have that feel, but Atlanta's really going to be the one that's like really
the fresh new one. So that's, we're one of the things I know we were going to talk about. Well, we have a lot of things we can be talking about, but one of them was just thinking of this next show season and how it's going to feel for people, because we know that vendors and showrooms everyone's watching this show season, even though, this is the slower of the two shows. But how are retailers going to be responding to show season? What are they going to do? Are retailers going to be buying? Are they going to be more cautious? What kind of things are they going to be buying? And are they doing wait and see as well?
I would have to, so as of right now, when we're talking, there's a 90-day hold on that insane 100 whatever percent.
Right.
It's standing at 30%. That's still, I talked to Socksmith. I re-interviewed them last week. They are not extending the tariffs to the customers for this year. So
interesting. Cool.
And I think there are some lines that are trying to do that, but by far and large, they are looking at tariffs. But what will happen for this show by this 90-day hold, it will allow, because right now what's sitting in everyone's warehouses is all they have left. Everything they've wanted to bring in, they put on hold. So this little window, it's like, hurry up, get it on the ship, send it out.
Yeah. Hope everything gets here. Yep.
That is what will carry the industry through the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
January will be the interesting show. January is going to be.
So as a retailer, do retailers go in and feel like I want to buy as much as I can?
It's a good.
Or am I going to be very specific and cautious with what I buy? It'll be interesting, to see what they.
I think it's going to be a gamble. Do I bring in more now, or do I hope that there's no tariffs later?
Right.
It's, as a retailer, it's got to be challenging. And what I'm telling some people right now, what I'm starting to talk about more on social media is like, you may not be able to bring as much inventory in. You may not. And just the cost. So if you bring in your key items that drive your business, Jellycat, Voluspa, I love Voluspa. Right. Whatever items that you do bring that come out of China, and you bring in the ones that you need.
Yep.
To reinvent what you own. So it's kind of like thinking outside the box and how can I reinvent this? So your older stuff that you've had or that you get from California or whatever. But also what I do like, and it may not be the answer everyone wants to hear, but I do like the fact that it is going to force retailers to go, to get creative and try and find lines that are, whether they're makers and they're small lines that they would not do, and they may not be as polished and beautiful and amazing, but for the artist things that are out there that are crafted in the United States. And for those, the locavore, I had Carolyn on the podcast. Everything in her store is within 100 miles in New York. And that is that's tariff free, except for if somebody pours a candle and they need the glass from China. But
yeah, she's probably, I don't know what percentage, but she's close to 100%.
Which is amazing. So I think this is going to, it's kind of like the pandemic. It kind of forced a lot of change quickly. You didn't have a website up. If you weren't comfortable going live, if you weren't comfortable, those stores that weren't have quietly kind of been going away. And it's another evolution of our industry, I feel like, that's going to be fast forwarded because of unfortunate situation that we're looking more at an industry.
It's like to think more creatively and to pivot, to have the flexibility to pivot and try things out. And it's been a rough role for retailers just with the pandemic. And now this, it's got to be exhausting, but so rewarding when something works.
Yeah.
It's rewarding to think of, like Carolyn and her store, Locavore, and to see in particular how much product is being produced within 100 miles. It's like, it's there. And that product is available. It's
a small store, and it's a lot different than a lot of people's what their stores are. But I think when you think about okay, I'm going to go to the craft show this weekend and see if I can find some amazing goods that are made. And in the same breath, I think that some showrooms are going to start tagging things made in the U.S. where
I imagine.
I would hope, I can't imagine why they wouldn't, but I would hope that the New York Now, Vegas Temps, Atlanta Temps, all those pull together. And I think it used to be called Handmade back in the day.
Yeah, that is exactly it. They kind of, they made it that way, but it's where you're grouping more, U.S. made.
U.S. made. And I think, I'm sure they will. I don't know if it's going to be, because you don't have to be handmade to be made in the U.S. So I would hope they make a big.
It's not a craft just because it's made here.
Because everyone keeps saying it's called handmade. I'm like, I know, but we're talking about this other merchandise that's made that's not handmade that is in the US. So my hope is they group all these US production all together. So when you're going down the aisle, you don't have to worry about like, oh God, is this going to cost me another fucking 30%? Like, you just know automatically everything in this section is
free. And it's got to be some of the first questions that are going to be coming out of that vendors are going to be hearing.
Yeah,
is tariff, and what is this, and how are the prices raising, and if so, how much, and what am I going to be charged? So that's going to be a lot of conversations around that. But I love, I knew that one of the things we were going to talk about is really about creatively rethinking the product that you have too. Don't be afraid to rethink that product.
Another interesting thing that's coming up too is the whole the pushback of fast fashion now. It's weird because this is the thing that trips me out. Things are costing more, which means to me, I would think that people will be gravitating towards cheaper things. But what's happening is people don't want the excess of this cheap fast fashion that's basically disposable. You wear it one or two things and then you throw it away. It ends up in a landfill. So there's the pushback of the environmental issue. But they are pushing more towards like not luxury, but goods that are made better, that are costing more, that are going to last you longer. And it's interesting to see that happening at the same time. And it has nothing to do with the tariff situation.
No, it's just more about sustainability. And I believe that the generation coming in, a lot of Gen X, fuels this for certain. And 100%. And like, it's also like you've seen like the growth of vintage fashion or flea markets that are only fashion. You know what I mean?
And there's no tariffs on vintage.
Nope, not a tariff to be had.
and like when I had the interview with the floral store, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting the name right now. When she does a mix of new and vintage, so she'll sell new candles, and then she sells vintage candlesticks, and she's pairing together new and old. And I love the sense of what's going to happen and like how.
Oh my gosh, that's my mom and dad. Hi, mom and dad.
Hi, mom and dad.
Chatting with me.
Like I'd love to hear the idea of like mixing vintage and having the new key items that are going to sell, and less of the disposable. Like it's I'm telling you, like I feel like our industry right now is like fast forwarding what it's going to look like, and there you go. So oh my gosh, we asked her questions. No one sent us pictures of displays, which I'm sorry, I'm a little disappointed, not gonna lie.
You guys out there, we need to communicate with us. We are open to be communicated with.
And so everyone knows, we are not sharing any photos this show, exactly for the reason I just talked about. I don't want to make it more complex for poor Danielle and like screen sharing things. So we are going to do this one's all talk, and we'll go back to the photos and the images, but we'll give good examples because two of these questions are display oriented. The first one is, and I know I'm going to screw your name up and I'm so sorry, but Nicole Sornprosity at Ruby Road Vintage. Her question is, I would like to ask about signage. What are some good ways to post sale signage, or what other useful signs should we have up on our store? Where should we put them? What sizes? Should we have them professional made or chalkboard?
Okay, Ruby Road Vintage, you said, yeah? Does she say where she's located?
I do not know. Are you looking?
Oh, I found it. What's her name again?
Nicole.
Hi, Nicole.
Sornprosity.
Yeah. Okay. This is in Arizona, Camp Verde, Arizona. Boop, boop. Ruby Road Vintage. I'm looking at your Instagram. This is super fun. Okay. This is super. You know what? Oh, yeah, signage is rough. And signage is such an important conversation to have too.
Especially for sale. So I want to
Oh my gosh,
talk
yes.
about sales signage first. We'll cover sales signage first, and then we'll talk about some other useful signs and
Yeah. Okay. Oh, me first. Me first. Okay, so my theory on sales signage, there is consistency. First of all, I love. Okay, if you can, I love the idea that your sales signage is the same, so that it's so recognizable every time you have a sale. Do you know what I mean? There's something to be said about people recognizing your sales signage.
Like what's an
Oh, I mean, what am I trying to say? Like, it's not in a different font every time you have a sale. It's not in a different color every time you have a sale. There's not 5 different signs about the same sale in the store. It is consistent. It is consistent. You have come up with, so that when you have a sale, people notice it, they recognize it, and they're not confused. Some of the so I used to work in back in the day. Used to work with the University of Washington in their bookstore, so I ran their gift department, and signage was a huge conversation we had all the time. So the one thing that I think we all could agree on was that University of Washington's colors are purple and white, okay, or purple and gold. We used purple and white. Sales signage, you really need to think about. It was the only red sign in the entire store.
Oh,
always saw it. Boom. You knew it. You knew where to go. You knew how to see it. Maybe if it was a different color, then you have a different reason for that color. It's not the same. If it's a yellow sign, that's not a sales section. Maybe that's some other situation, right? So that's what I mean by consistency. Some other situation that I have no idea. The other thing that is so important, and I'm just going to go into this, is no one's doing the fine reading, right? You want to know exactly what percentage you're receiving off. So that should be your largest message, I think. People understand if they see 50%, they know it's 50% off sale. There's no question about it. So do not hide the discount.
good.
You don't have to have a paragraph. If it's a section, boom, 50%. That's all you need to say.
Windows.
Like sale windows, like how long things should last. Well, I'm a believer of, first of all, and I know you are too. It's like you got to rip the Band-Aid off. Don't hold on to sale merchandise longer than you need to, and keep it going and get it done and be quick with it and let it be gone. Don't have that trickle sales section, because there is going to be people who are thinking like, oh, one day they'll go to 75, and they're just waiting and waiting. And you have this ever long growing sale for weeks at a time. And it's the worst thing ever.
So
Was that clear, or am I just?
Yeah, no, because there's a few things that are coming to my head.
Yeah.
One is that, the reason why Anthropologie created a whole fucking room full of sales, because it was constant, and it was.
That's a whole nother concept, though. Too.
They gap everybody that does markdowns. They do them all on this one specific day, and you're trying customers to wait for sale, and they come in and they do not look at regular price. They just go right, because there's no other place to put it. But I will say the other side of the coin was Fred Siegel, when I started, only had a sale once a year, and people waited all year for it, and it was an event. Mm-hmm. Sat on those goods. Mm-hmm. Think about 3 seasons of shit that you've gone through in order to get to that September sale. You've gone through your holiday stuff. Mm-hmm. You have some holiday sales, so you've got your holiday stuff, all of your spring, all of your summer. Now you're in fall, and you've got that many that boxed up sitting, which obviously did not work.
Right.
But I think, like, how long do you think, I'll give you my answer, but how long do you think is as long as sales should be dragged out? And this is, mind you, this is way more information. You asked about signs, and we're talking.
I know. And we'll get to signs, because I have something specific in my head to think about that I want to say too, that I even saw today. Timing. Okay. So I like the idea of 2 sales a year. That's my theory. I like an end of year sale It's predictable. There's nothing wrong with predictable. Come on, Pete,
Well, you get rid of it before your inventory. And
thank you. Exactly. Like if you're going to hold some stuff over, well, hold it over, but don't really, and end of year sale. And I really like an end of summer sale before all your new goods come in. You know what I mean? And some people might do like an anniversary sale where it becomes a consistent yearly event or a consistent little moment. I think I don't feel like there's anything wrong with that. I like that idea. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of power in that message.
What do you think about like having a sale, like a year long, this is our little sales section? Is that like...
Oh, it can work. There's some really beautiful stores that I know who does this, and I'll visit it, and I rarely buy out of it because I'm more interested in what's brand new.
Yeah.
And it feels a little kind of junky.
Yeah, it feels unimportant. And I think
it does. And it feels like it takes up space in a place where I don't want to see that stuff. Let me dig through something during a sale period. You know what I mean?
I think, it takes away valuable real estate from your regular price goods, but when you don't have a lot of it, it feels like this sad, like the same reason why when you have a store that's super abundant and you want to buy everything, and then you have stores that have very little and you're like, are you going out of business? Are you like, why is it still minimal? It's the same thing. It almost repels people versus bringing them in. Okay, so, and I'm going to touch on this right now. You didn't ask, and I'm going to give it to you anyway, but for sale at 50% off. Don't dick around with 20% off, because honestly, like 20% is not that much. And if you want to be in and out of it, you want it out. Like
I 100% agree with this.
Start low. People are going to go, just what you were saying earlier. I'm just going to
wait. Yeah.
So that's all. So sale,
100%. And I learned that lesson. We used to work with, again, this was when I was working at the bookstore. We used to work with like a management group, like a inventory management group and stuff like that. Really wonderful people, in particular, a really wonderful gentleman named Ken Bankston, who gave fantastic information. We talked a lot about categories and growth and One of the things that was so important that he would always stress, and that I would agree, it's exactly, he's like, rip that Band-Aid off. You're doing yourself no favor holding on to merchandise that hasn't sold.
Yeah. Open the buy.
And let it be done. Let it go. Boom. Done. See you later. Adios. It might hurt you. You might feel like hurt. You're like, oh, it has such a value. I'll only give it 10%. Why? So you can save someone some tax?
Like no one bought it.
No one bought it at, exactly. Oh my God. It kills me. And let it be done. Now I have seen some other sale tactics that I do like is category sales. And that I think can work throughout the year, maybe, whether it's like, all our cookbooks are on sale. And maybe that is maybe cookbooks are 25% off. Do you know what I mean? And that somehow feels better because you know that maybe you're just slimming the category down or to something like that. Or maybe a certain category like, all socks are on sale.
And you don't create a sale section. It just means they can roam around and find the cookbooks.
100%. It's just sort of an announcement. Maybe it's just something cool. And then you just happen to be in the store and you're like, oh my God, cookbooks are on sale. Well, I'm going to buy 2 then. You know what I mean? I think there's something. Okay. So talking about vintage and talking about this signage concept with sale. And this is more.
Where should she? Okay. Uniform signs, where?
Okay. Well, here, let me get this thought out of my head really quickly. And I saw this just today, and I was in like a showroom, like a furniture showroom today. And all the items they had on sale in the showroom were marked with a beautiful red velvet ribbon. Okay, now granted, this is high-end furniture, but let me tell you, you could see that red ribbon whenever you came across it really well. And it was a beauty. And these were large pieces. Obviously, they're pieces of furniture, so you'd see the red ribbon. And so they're not having to like move it into a section. You're not having to have a whole section of, one-off pieces of furniture. You're walking around, then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that chair's on sale. Oh, how cool. I like that concept. I don't know if you have the right kind of
That'd be hard for vintage and apparel stores. If you think
It would be, but I think there's something nice about, there's a signifier. Again, a consistent signifier. It's a red, is it a red ribbon sale? Boom. Come into our store and you're looking for red ribbons. Okay. Where would I put signage? Whew. Well, windows are important. I've seen some stores do it with those balloons that are letters.
Yeah.
And they do like a sale. I think it's adorable. So it becomes like the celebration. You're like, woo, it's a sale. And they have those cute little balloon letters. Window for sure. And then throughout the store, I like the idea of, is it hanging from the ceiling? Do you have a table? If it's on the table, then it's hanging above the table. And again, clear, consistent signage.
Professionally made?
It doesn't have to be.
I think for a vintage store, personally, I think it'd be cuter, like hand painted.
Oh my God. Yeah, totally. I mean, professionally made, that's a hard one. It's like you can go to Canva and feel like you're mildly professional.
Chalkboard?
Chalkboard could be fun for the street, for sure. I think that could be fun. Chalkboard signage. Is there a chalkboard that's in the store that sort of announces like great deals and fun things anyways? And then people know that a sale's coming up or that a sale's happening. I love that idea. I think that's really fun.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
did you answer her questions? What's your opinion?
My 2 cents. So Anthro would have quarterly sales. One tip I would say is if you are doing it only certain times of the year, pull it all together and put it at the front of the store. I know you don't have to, and I know it's going to look janky and ugly, but this is the thing. Sales never going to be pretty.
Oh yeah, that's for certain. Just get it done.
You got it, and you want it to be like in your face. And you want to look abundant. So we would have furniture down there. We have lightings. We'd have everything, like the small things bend, all the rails of apparel, and everything was signed. So for some reason, I don't know why, but when you were talking about signage back in my head, I was thinking like, how cute would it be? And again, consistency is everything. How cute would it be to be like a navy sign that looks like it was stitched sale and then have the border stitch, but for the window, I would have one giant one, no mannequin, no other thing, just one giant sign.
Yes. And don't try to do sale and your displays at the same time.
Yeah. Or a sale display, like don't.
No. Yeah.
For every single rail of clothing that you have, you should have a sign on the end of every single rail. So whether you group it by price points, this rail, everything's $25 or $25. And table, same thing. Small ticket, like furniture things, if it's not a bow, something like that, same thing. It's just a smaller version of this. So everything looks the same. I know people like to do this. 2 things that make me insane. Write their signs with not great
handwriting.
Yep. With all different color pens and like 4 different people are making signs. It's almost like
that's why Canva's there for a reason. Use it then. It's free.
You can. I mean, like I think because we've done a sale for Anthro, we would hand paint canvas. So we would take a piece of canvas and we cut it in half and make a banner. And we granted, the display coordinators were insane artists, but like hand painting sale and in red, like it's like cute, but you could do that like a piece of blue fabric and then in white sail paint little white painted stitches and then print all your smaller tags. But please don't lean into the staples, red sale signs that are easily available to purchase. And I think they're easy and they work, but try and think about your store. This is an extension of your store, and it may be ugly, stale, but it's still, you want it to be an extension of you.
It's branded. You got to brand even your sale signs. You know what I mean? Do you use a certain font in everything? Then use that font within your sale signs. Do you have a color? Then, I know I said like, we would use purple and white and that the sale signs would be red, but you know what we did? We had the same font. You knew it belonged to us.
Yeah.
It was not any mystery that this was the same sign. Yeah. Same font.
You want them, as much as you want them to be like, I don't want to scream sale. I don't want to, you do want to scream sale.
You do.
You do want this shit out the door. Like the whole purpose is to move it. And the whole purpose is to move it in a so I would again start at 50% unless like all cookbooks at 20, it's kind of a blanket statement. You're not creating a sales section, but if you're creating a sales section and you want to create that energy in people, start at 50% off. And then I always tell people 2 weeks and then drop it to 75.
Yep.
A week or whatever of that.
1 week is 75 and done.
Do not extend it long. And then becomes the question I get all the time, and I know you didn't ask for it, but we're going to talk about it, is what do I do with the rest? And, you can either donate it, which we used to do at the pharmacy. Erin, for a while, like what worked was we were down to the last pieces. She'd throw it on a rolling rack and roll it out to the sidewalk. And it was everything on the rack was $10. And it was at that point, then it was almost 90% off, but it's like, we donated a lot, but it was like, okay, we just wanted to go.
Yeah.
But we overrode that a lot. Apparently the mall was like, you can't put your grill outside anymore. Like it's
we would the same thing. We would donate what is done, at the very end, or if it's, particularly like if it's soaps or something. At the hospital, we used to do that. At the gift shop, certain things, or we'd donate certain stuff. Easy.
And I have seen a couple stores, which I think is kind of brilliant. They will do a mystery bag and they'll have 6 pieces of whatever. You have no idea what you're getting. 6 pieces and they're
that idea.
$20. And that way you're getting rid of lots of it. And again, at this point in the sale, you're not looking at it as a profit. You're just looking to get back something. Add to your open to buy. That is it. Like so I think that's good. And one thing I would say for everyday signs, I love for vintage stores is vintage photos and blowing them up and sale print, not even sale, just like, if this is, because I did it pop-up shop. You didn't talk about it, but I've been doing a couple pop-up shops and I took all the regular jewelry, like stuff like this. All on cards like this. But I love old photos for vintage stores for signs, for in your jewelry cases, if you need them for signage like denim bar or something like that, to go through old photos and like find an old guy in jeans and like blow the photo up and then do the print on that. I think those are my sign. It's my sign.
I was going to say one other thing. What I was thinking about, like if you have maybe some different price points or something, or percentages that you do have to deal with in your store. I mean, we've all been in Goodwill. Well, you know what? They have different color tags for different price points, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying do it the Goodwill way. I'm just saying using the concept.
I can't ever figure that shit out. So
I'm like using the same concept of, especially if maybe you're just putting certain things on sale throughout the store, some certain pieces of furniture, and maybe it's on a different color tag, and like from the counter, you can be like, oh, I came across this green tag. Well, green tag means that, these pieces are 40% off, you could do something like that.
We did do a color thing.
Yeah.
We had one big chart at the front door, like everything with a blue tag, everything in a blue tag. So it became almost like a treasure hunt of people looking for.
Yeah. No. That could always kind of be good, but man, you just gotta be careful. Where those tags are, and like dots are all over the damn place soon enough. And then people on top of dots, and then people use a Sharpie because they ran out of stickers, and then all of a sudden it's like a craft project. No craft projects.
Let's not forget people switching tags. You've got that.
Oh yeah, there you go.
This had a $5 tag on it. No, it didn't.
Okay, good. So hopefully we answered her question.
Okay. Next question is from Jennifer. She didn't give me her last name. Her store is Freson Brothers, Freson Brothers. Her question is, I struggled to come up with a display theme between Christmas and Valentine's, as well as August to September. Any ideas?
Ooh, is this Friesen Brothers as in Alberta, Canada? How exciting. I love it.
Friends?
A little market. They have community stores. Okay. Oh, this is great. Okay. So I love this. I love this question because it's a good one. First of all, my number one favorite thing to do between Christmas, I'm just going to answer first because I started talking first.
I'm going to look forward to
Huh?
I'm looking for this as you're going.
Okay. Between Christmas and Valentine's Day, the first thing I do is almost always go to the color blue or yellow. And these are colors, I mean, you don't see very much if you've been inundated with red from the holidays, and you're going to have red in Valentine's Day. So let's at least get the color schematics changed up. Feel very fresh, feel very light, feel very, what are people feeling during this time? I am a huge, like, this is when you want to see, in my mind, I want to see journals. I want to see paper. I want to see pens. I want to see calendars. I want to think about how to organize things. These also become displays, which are, I believe, are more gifts to one's personal self. You're not gifting to others at this moment. So what are things that you would like to buy for yourself that perhaps you didn't receive over the holidays? You know, this is, I know it sounds weird, but it's like, this to me is, it's all about like fresh and blue and clean and white and organized.
Why but tell me, because you did it for your store, so there's obviously, so what is like a navy blue or like a robin's egg blue, or is it
navy blue? It just, yeah, like a navy blue. It just feels like such a fresh color at that point.
Yeah.
You know, you've wiped away all the red and green, all the Christmas lights, all the glitter and the chaos, and you literally strip it down to very clean, white, fresh. And books are such great things at that point. And again, I go back to like notebooks and paper and writing utensils and fresh soaps and things of that sort. Nothing too overly floral, because you're going to roll into Valentine's Day where you're going to be bringing in red again and bringing in chocolates and kind of overindulgence. So this is this little breather of like, you're almost on your own little, diet, like a mental diet, a visual diet.
Well, I mean, that makes sense because when we would roll out, when I would do, so one of the things
diffusers, God, I want to smell the good things, you know? Okay, go ahead.
Tell my stores in January is don't bring a lot of inventory in because everyone's on sale. Everyone's getting credit card bills. So I would reinvent the personal care because me, January, you're all coming off of eating sweets and you're like, I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to eat sweets.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, it was almost like a new year, new me is, I think.
It's totally it. And it's nothing wrong with.
Great idea. I love that.
Yeah. And that concept, you'd be like, it's not reinventing the wheel. Yeah. And that's okay because everyone sort of feels that way in January. Water bottles. You probably have water bottles in your store. Now let's pull them up and maybe you're just choosing certain colors that you're showcasing, you know, and yeah.
New year, new me. Stationery is great. Personal care. And these are things that you carry all year long. But I try and tell people, like, don't bring a lot of new inventory and reinvent your own. And I love the idea that, you know, if it is a window, I mean, I just, for some reason, you said water bottle, and I just thought about, like, if you have, you know, some kind of a bookcase in your window and just all water bottles and like either colored out or, I mean, even a whole window. This is where coloring out things I think would be really good. If it's a whole bunch of random blue things to say. So Capri blue, blue journals, blue pens, blue clothing, blue food, blue packaging. I mean, it's the whole colored out thing. It doesn't have to have any theme, which I actually love that idea.
Yeah. It's just, you got to have like that visual break on your eyes.
Yeah.
You know,
but it's also a break of like, you have been living in excess for so long.
Oh, totally.
Okay, it's like, oh my God. Okay, I don't feel like I need to buy myself something, but I do feel like I need to buy myself something because
100%. And you're like, I'm going to buy something to make me a more productive human being.
I love that. Okay, so and then
what's the other? Yeah, September.
August to September is
okay.
A weird time because you're coming off of summer and everything's fun, and then it's
back to school, baby.
Back to school
for adults.
Oh,
you know what? Do I have an issue with, or have an opportunity with stationery?
Issue.
It's an issue. That's not an issue. It's back to school for adults. Well, so here's another thought process, and it seems odd, but okay, I go back to calendars. There's, you have calendars that are academic calendars that are starting up at that point. So maybe you have academic calendars available. Maybe you, you don't want to do a holiday. It doesn't always have to be a holiday. So, you're not ready to like dive into Halloween yet, so you have this funny little area. I love using things like books and paper as a transition. And maybe that's just me, but I think that's a wonderful transitionary category. Because people are always interested in it. You can start mixing in things like mugs. It's almost like back to school for adults. Maybe you do have yellow pencils, and that's a lovely thing. But maybe you have Blackwing pencils instead. Do you know what I mean? High-end pencils.
I love that. For Bristol, because Bristol Farms, I used to merchandise for them for a nanosecond, and or we did the holiday installs, and Kim, the buyer, then it was all back to school for kids. So it was all these really cute lunch boxes. So she would buy lunch boxes, and she would buy the little cups and the water bottles. And then what happens, it would come to the store, and how I changed how Bristol was doing it, because they're a huge grocery chain, and they're usually just like the gift stuff's on the end caps.
Yeah.
I would mix in juice boxes.
Yes.
Snacks, and made it kind of like, again, it cross merchandised, just like I would do for my retailers. But it was fun to do that for the grocery store, and I think we rolled those out. I think they were between like July, the end of July, and beginning of August, it was already set up. But I like the idea that the back to school for adults. I mean, it could also be, you could take it the other way. It's like, it's the kids are finally going back to school, and mom finally has time for herself. So maybe that's the wine and charcuterie boards, which actually,
oh my God, I love that, because here's the thing is like you're feeling the itchings of fall. That you're not there yet. What better? Charcuterie boards is a wonderful thing. Maybe you're going to start thinking about doing a little charcuterie. You have, again, phenomenal books. Maybe the kids, again, going back to school. Not everyone has kids, but kids going back to school, so you're thinking of dinners. You're going to start cooking more inside again, right?
Weather's going to change.
Yeah, the weather's going to change. And this is, it's all aspirational. It's things that you're going to start thinking about. And people also will actually start doing some really early Christmas shopping, and maybe they're coming across things and they're feeling really good. And they're like, I'm going to get this book for, my sister, candles that are not scented summer or pumpkin. There's 5 million out there, some really nice things that, you don't have to dive into pumpkin yet.
I think one year we did a camping window, because it was like,
love that.
It's like the kids are not in school yet. It's your final time to get out with the kids. It's still warm. So I did a canvas tent with it was so easy to do. It was just canvas from Home Depot, canvas painter's cloth, and then hung a dowel from the top, and then just folded it over.
Yeah.
And then tacked it down on the corners. I just did a little stack up of wood. My favorite display ever, which I did it for Stephen Young for the Jelly Cat. Or no, we did it for Milk Barn. Twigs and those giant Stay Puft marshmallows. They're literally like...
Yep. Yeah, the massive ones.
So I would string those, and I even some of the twigs that were multi-limbed.
Yeah.
Like 2 or 3 on...
Yeah.
And
Love it.
was the cutest one. And it was so easy because it was like kids weren't in school yet. And it was like the last hurrah of summer.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of these displays and things we're talking about here, I think, is using product that I consider, or we consider everyday product. Do you know what I mean? It does not have a holiday attached to it.
Yeah.
So it is everyday items that are in your store that are going to be sold, and you're probably, your summer stuff is going on sale and you're receiving your, fall and winter. So what do? What products do you have there? Everyday products, celebrate them, for sure.
I think
books make great stories. I will say I posted something on my Instagram today, on my work Instagram. So that's Rue Patois, a great store in Burien, Washington called Paper Delights. They do really lovely displays. They do coloring it out like nobody's business. They color it out. And they, for summertime, and again, this is not the time period you're talking about, but what I love is they really were celebrating travel and traveling different places. And again, using books as the sort of, the little, what am I trying to say? The instigator for these displays. And to help with how the colors go too. So it could be a book with
and it's so simple. It's just their
simple. Yeah.
It's like
it evokes
the posters of their travel posters. So
travel posters,
it evokes the ideas of like, you need this bag, you're going to Italy, you need a bag that's going to be easy to wear. God, that's a really cute story, right?
Oh yeah, she has she is very good. She's really spot on. They do a really interesting thing with displays is every season they do seasonal changeovers. They shut the store down for a day.
Love.
Full on wipe the slate clean. They do a new backdrop behind the counter every time to kind of celebrate whatever the season is. And then, everything goes back up. However, it's, with special buys. I mean, they don't change out all the product, they just rearrange it, remerch it, the whole thing. And then store opens up and you almost feel like this whole fresh new feeling every time.
Yeah. I think we need to do another episode on that, the reinventing of your everyday merchandise, because I think that a lot of people are going to have to be doing that coming up. And this is what I do with Maison A. And then again, this will be the next one we talk about, is that Maison A, I go in there 4 times a year, and there is seasonal merchandise, but for the most part, I am turning the whole entire store and I'm reinventing everything. So if I showed rosy rings with floral books and floral apparel, I show it a totally different way, and pulling out things that we've had in bookcases and whatnot. And just, it's what I used to call tossing the salad. I understand that has a different, but I would toss the salad. You reinvent the whole thing.
I know. I'm just laughing about that.
I'm going to be Googling what that means.
Don't Google it yet.
But I think a lot of people, that's kind of what I was alluding to in the beginning of this conversation was, if you need, you're bringing in the items that you need to bring in, fuck the tariff. You're going to sell a jelly cat. You're going to sell X, Y, and Z. Take that out and mix and reinvent other items that you own.
Yep.
I think that that's a really smart way of merchandising. And that's what I used to do in January, to tell my customers, like, don't bring anything new. We're going to reinvent everything you own. And it may be some of it to like onesies and twosies, but you may have stuff that did not perform. And the really surprising thing is when you pull it out, and because there's all the other stuff that was like what did sell is gone.
Right.
You have stuff that did not perform as well, or it's something that you have a lot of because you do well with it all year long, is pulling that out and showing it a totally different way. Suddenly it's like people walk by and it's like, oh, is this, no, I just actually moved it. And I think that that's one of those creative ways that retailers are going to have to get.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I hope that we answered your question.
Hopefully we did. I know. Report back to us, great stores, for answering, and see if, let us know if it was helpful. And other people need to talk to us. Give us questions that we're excited to answer.
Yeah, this is everybody's call to action for sending us whatever questions. Again, it could be merchandising, it could be design, it could be display, it could be personal, like why are you trying so much, or whatever the question is. What are your pet peeves?
Be like, Susan, why do you move around so much and not stay in the screen?
Yeah.
And sitting in an uncomfortable spot.
Before we go, I want to point out your shirt because I think it's
This is so cute. This is a wonderful little gal. Of course, now I'm like, little tiger. That's what she calls herself. Is that what it is? Yeah. Let me just look. I know I could look at my shirt.
There's a shrimp on one shoulder. There's a fish on another. There's
Little Tiger Studios. She's this gal who does these wonderful block prints on vintage shirts. This is an old men's Izod shirt that she found. And so like a little scallop shell, a little shrimp. There's a fish, there's an oyster. She does beautiful, is Little Tiger Studios, and she does these beautiful block prints. A lot of times like on tote bags and stuff, but then she'll do clothing as well. Like she just got a whole bunch of new
well, I love that she's reinventing vintage clothes, and these guy has on their old denim, and it's so cute. Like there's a trout on them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's just really fun block printing that she creates herself, obviously, and I love it. So I did a market with her. I've done a couple markets with her in Savannah. And the last one I did where I was selling some of my vintage goods, she had this shirt and I was like, well, there goes money I made, but that's okay because I'm buying something. So yeah, I know I obviously can't, like, here's the fish down at the bottom.
Trout. I mean, they got a pair of pants and the trout is down the front of the.
She does fantastic.
Oh my God. She's got a Union Jack jumpsuit. That is so cute.
Oh, she does really cute stuff. So,
all right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And again, send your questions. You won't have an episode from us until it probably will be August, realistically. And I think we do this in person when we're in Vegas.
Let's do that. I think that'll be, let's do it in person.
This will give you guys a good amount of time.
A large bottle of wine between us.
Hopefully we're staying together. Then this will give you 2 months basically to send in questions for us. So think about, you're going into the holidays, think about display questions for, low inventory suggestions on that. I mean, you name it, we will answer the questions, but hopefully we'll do them in person. And that's all. Thanks.
That'd be good. Thank you. Bye.